Hello, everyone. While I was reading Psalm 125, the first three verses caught my attention. The psalmist speaks about Mount Zion, the mountains surrounding Jerusalem, and the scepter of the wicked. As I reflected on these verses, I realized that the author was using metaphorical language to communicate a deeper spiritual truth. The first verse says that those who trust in the Lord will be like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved but abides forever. Mount Zion represents stability and permanence. And the picture being painted here is that a person who trusts in God becomes spiritually unshakable. Circumstances may change, difficulties may arise, and seasons may shift. But the one who trusts in the Lord remains firm and grounded, just like Mount Zion, which stands unmoved. The second verse goes on to say that as the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people from this time forth and forever. Historically and geographically, Jerusalem is surrounded by hills and mountains, and in ancient times, this natural elevation served as a form of protection for the city. The psalmist takes that physical reality and uses it as a spiritual picture to show how God Himself surrounds His people. Just as those mountains formed a protective barrier around Jerusalem, the Lord encircles His people with His presence, His protection, and His faithfulness. The third verse then introduces another image, the scepter of the wicked. It says that the scepter of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity. Now, the scepter represents authority or rule, particularly the rule of the wicked. Many scholars believe this verse reflects period when God's people experienced oppression or foreign domination, possibly after the exile in Babylon when Israel had returned to their land but still faced instability and the influence of ungodly rulers. Although the righteous may experience seasons where wickedness appears to have authority, that rule will not remain forever. God will not allow the oppression of the wicked to permanently dominate his people because prolonged oppression could tempt the righteous to lose heart or even compromise. So what I'm going to do is that in the next few weeks, I'm going to do about 10 parts on this Psalm 125, but I'm going to focus on starting from this moment. I'm going to focus on verse 1. Now, going deeper into the first verse of Psalm 125, we see that Mount Zion represents stability, permanence, as I said earlier, and the presence of God. Mount Zion appears firm and immovable, standing through generations without being shaken. Okay, the writer uses this mountain as a metaphor to describe those who trust in the Lord. In other words, people who trust in God become spiritually firm and immovable, even in the face of uncertainty and difficult situations. Their stability does not come from circumstances, but from the one in whom they trust. Now, in Matthew 7:24 through 25, Jesus spoke about a man who built his house on the rock. He said that when the rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, it did not fall because it was founded upon the rock. Now, in that illustration, the rain, the floods, and the winds represent the various trials and challenges we face in life. They represent tribulations, temptations, hardship, and seasons of difficulty. These things come to everyone, but the difference lies in the foundation. How everyone will respond depends on what each and every one are founded on. The house that was built on the rock stood firm because it had a solid foundation. In the same way, when our trust is in God, when our lives are built around Christ and grounded in the Word of God and governed by the Word of God, we will not be shaken by the storms of life. This is exactly what the psalmist is communicating. Those who trust in the Lord are spiritually stable, unshakable, and immovable, regardless of what they face. There are moments in life when circumstances can make a person feel like giving up. There are seasons when discouragement, hardship, and pain seem overwhelming. In those moments, what keeps a person standing is their faith, their trust, and their belief in God's promises. David expressed something similar when he said, I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. In other words, it was his faith that kept him from losing hope. Trusting God means holding on to His word, even when everything around you seems uncertain. It means believing His promises, even in the face of trials. False accusations may come, yet you remain standing. Betrayal may come, yet you remain standing. Lack may come, yet you remain standing. Sickness may come, yet you remain standing. Discouragement may come, yet you remain standing. Trials may come, yet you remain standing. Why? Because your trust is in God. And those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, firm, unshakable, and immovable. God bless you. Watch out for part 2.